144 are gonna save them souls. They my design. Best believe they divine at the right time.
I'm recording the other word that I received yesterday on Thanksgiving, and this one was not from Jesus. This one was from the Father. And as I was thinking that I was gonna say that this one was of the Father, I immediately thought, oh, people are gonna think he's serious and all this stuff, and it wasn't that. So he said some things and he chuckled actually, and I'll get into that. And that chuckle was monstrous. Let's just say that. So I got this not was it yesterday? I know I was reading scripture. I was reading the Bible with my wife, and then I just kept getting this impression that he needed to talk to me, and I said, okay, I'll write down whatever you want to write. So we finished. My wife went to go do something, and I just stayed there listening to the Lord. And then I find out it was the Father. And he says, I am God. I am King. And I started, and I kind of chuckled a little bit because he uses the word I am. So again, I am God. I am King. None shall have my throne, nor can anyone take my throne. It is an impossible task for any to take what does not belong to them. Excuse me. It cannot be done, son. One gaze will send them flying. And he starts talking to me. He says, "You have heard, my son, when I barely twitched my finger, and an angel of mine went flying smack against the wall in my throne room." So there was this brother that many years ago, he went to the throne room, and God twitched his pinky finger, and there was an angel in front of him. And when he just like moved it ever so slightly, this power just came out and smacked this angel against the wall. Boom! He fell down, and he just got back up, started flying, and went back into worshiping mode. So that's what the Father's referring to here. One gaze will send them flying. You have heard, my son, when I only barely twitched my finger, and an angel of mine went flying smack against the wall in my throne room. Then he goes back to what he's talking about. It cannot be taken. The enemy, idiot, as you call him, is defeated. So I call him idiot, and he used that word with me. I was like, oh, okay. It cannot be taken. The enemy, idiot, as you call him, is defeated. He thought by killing my son that he could defeat us, when in his pride he did my will. LOL. Such arrogant fool. And I heard him. He actually used it. I actually saw the acronym. Is it acronym? LOL. And then I saw him laugh. And I wrote here, LOL, such, and then he says, such arrogant fool. At this point, I seen the Father laughing and chuckle, but this laugh was different. It wasn't like the laugh of Jesus. This laugh was, and I'll try to describe it the best way I can. I seen the Father laughing, but I see it more as a deep ha ha ha. So when I saw him laughing, he was like, ha ha ha. I tried my best. It was just this big barley ha 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 ha, and like this, like I almost saw like a shock wave just go as he was ha ha ha. I was like, that was the first time I ever saw something like that. Um, okay, he did, and then he goes back to what he's talking about. He says he does not accept defeat, and then he goes, but I didn't see his face, but I saw like the silhouette of his face go. So he goes, he does not accept defeat, but he is defeat. In fact, he can be called defeat, meaning you could refer to him as defeat, but in a way that he's already defeated. Um, and he says, my angels await my order. All is well, my children, as I am in control of all. A lot is going on that you do not see, my children, but I see it all. I will have angels surrounding you as you celebrate this holiday. And when he said this holiday, I saw the word pagan. And he's referring to Thanksgiving. And I was like, pagan? I said, I didn't know that was a pagan holiday. And so I wasn't sure. I was waiting for confirmation on this word. And just now, just not too long ago, I looked up, Thanksgiving, and it was pagan, and it's rooted in pagan roots. Thanksgiving is rooted in pagan roots, not necessarily pagan, but the festivals of the paganism. That's where That's where they get Thanksgiving from. So I was like, okay. So again, he says, "I will have angels surrounding you, all as you celebrate this holiday, pagan." But the enemies are on the prowl. The haters of America are lurking in the shadows. Do not drop your guard. When you are told to wait, just wait. When you are told to pray, just pray. Listen to me, my son and spirit. When we instruct, when we instruct, as we see what you do not. As a parent to the child, follow my commands as I see and know the enemy's plan. You do not unless I reveal them to you. To some I have. You are in me and I in you. Do not be disobedient, as that can stumble my plans, as if it were possible. And I kind of said it like as if it were possible. And so when he said that, I was like, so how, I'm thinking, how do we stumble your plans? But then you say as if it was possible, like if it's not possible. So I didn't understand that. Um, and he says to, and then as I was thinking that, he says, you, he says, you do my will. Then he says, son, my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor ways. I see all. Just trust what I say. And I was questioning what I had heard as it did not make sense to me, but to him it does. That's all that matters. Then he goes on to say, expect visitations, my children. I will show up in many ways to you all. And I immediately thought of, as soon as I said that sentence, some of you guys who are watching right now are like, what kind of visitations? I know you guys are saying that. So I saw that as I was writing. And then he says, what matter of visitations? Let me decide that. You just expect, sit, and wait, children. Be on alert. I love you. And he actually said, signed Allah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So as I thought I was done, he had one more thing to say, and he says, I actually heard him say, P.S. Ask me to reveal my secrets slash mysteries to you, as in Jeremiah 3:33 states. So that's the word. The father was being a little silly as well, as they are silly with me, um, because I'm just a goofy guy. Some of you guys don't really know that, but I am. And I like to be funny, and I like to be sarcastic. So he sometimes uses sarcasm against me, or toward me. So that's the word from the Father that I received, and he kept telling me to put it out there. I was waiting for confirmations, and that whole pagan thing is what confirmed it to me. Um, so that's the word that I received today. Links are in the description, guys. Email, all that stuff. Um, and God bless until the next one, guys. Which I'm actually right now, as I'm sitting here making this, I'm getting an inclination, which is how he does that with me, that he has another word for me. I don't know when, but he does. So I guess probably when I'm done with this, he's probably gonna give me one or sometime. I don't know. One thing he told me that I will share with you guys, because I hadn't gotten a lot of words from him in a long time, and he told me months ago. He said, re-listen to the words that I gave you in the past. He said this will strengthen you, and this will encourage you, strengthen you to hear more. So if you know of words out there that are of the Lord, in minds, if take all this to the Lord, but if you believe that you hear words from other people or me or whatever, continue to listen to them even repeatedly, and that'll strengthen your hearing, because you're hearing the words of the Lord or the Father in this case. If I remember correctly, I think this was my first word from the Father. Usually it was Jesus, but this one, I actually, as I'm talking, I'm actually thinking the Father laughing, and I feel in my chest that like that. And it's not that he's slow and laughing, it's just this barley. And I actually feel pressure right here in my chest as I'm thinking about that. It was almost like I saw him, you know. But that was an awesome experience. Some of you guys who are aware of that have heard that experience can relate to me. But anyways, God bless. Until the next one, guys. Be safe. Be easy. Love you guys. Keep me in prayer. Amen.